everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. If you want to speak English more fluently and confidently, you are in the right place. In today's episode, we are going to talk about something very important: how to improve your English speaking skills. Many English learners can read and write quite well, but when it comes to speaking, they feel shy, nervous, or unsure of what to say. Some people study grammar and vocabulary for years, but still, they can't speak fluently. Does that sound familiar? If yes, don't worry, you are not alone. Today, I'll guide you step by step through the best ways to become a better English speaker. I'll explain why speaking English is important, what common problems learners face, and most importantly, how you can practice speaking every single day, even if you don't have a partner. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear plan to follow and new motivation to start improving your English speaking from today. So, sit back, relax, and listen carefully. Remember, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to start speaking. Let's begin this journey together and make English speaking a fun and confident part of your life. Before we talk about how to improve your English speaking, let's take a moment to understand why it's so important. English is not just a school subject, it's a global language that connects people from all around the world. No matter where you go in business, travel, or study, English is often the language people use to communicate. When you can speak English well, you open the door to many new opportunities. You can talk to people from different countries, make international friends, or even work with people across the world. English gives you access to information, culture, and ideas that you might not get in your native language. But there's something even more important: confidence. When you can express yourself clearly in English, you start feeling more confident, not only in speaking but also in your personality. You can share your thoughts, tell your stories, and be part of conversations that once made you nervous. Think about this. Learning to speak English is not only about words or grammar. It's about expressing who you are. It helps you grow as a person. You can study in other countries, get better jobs, or travel without fear of communication problems. And here's another great point. When you can speak English, you can also learn from people around the world. You can watch videos, listen to podcasts, or read books in English, and these things can change your life because you learn directly from people who inspire you. So, improving your English speaking is not just a language goal, it's a life skill. It gives you more freedom, more confidence, and more chances to connect with the world. Now that we understand why it's so important, let's move to the next part and talk about the common problems English learners face when speaking. Now let's talk about some of the most common problems English learners face when they try to speak. Understanding these problems is important because once you know what stops you, you can fix it more easily. The first problem is fear of making mistakes. Many learners feel nervous when speaking English. They worry about saying something wrong, or they think people will laugh at them. But the truth is, everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. Even native speakers make mistakes. The more you practice, the more confident you become. So don't let fear stop you from speaking. The second problem is lack of confidence. Some learners know many words and understand grammar, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. This happens because they don't trust themselves. Confidence comes from practice. The more you speak, the more natural it feels. The third problem is limited vocabulary. Sometimes you want to say something, but you don't know the right words. This can make you silent or uncomfortable. The good news is that you don't need thousands of words to speak well, you just need the most common and useful ones. The fourth problem is thinking too much before speaking. Many learners translate from their native language into English in their mind before speaking. This takes time and makes the conversation slow. To fix this, you need to start thinking in English, even for simple ideas. We'll talk later about how to do that. And finally, the fifth problem, not having enough speaking practice. Some learners spend a lot of time reading or writing, but they rarely speak. Speaking is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets weak. You need to practice it daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. So, these are the most common problems: fear, low confidence, small vocabulary, overthinking, and lack of practice. But don't worry, all of them can be solved with the right approach. Now that we know the common problems, let's talk about something very important: the right way to learn speaking. Many English learners spend years studying grammar rules, doing exercises, and memorizing vocabulary lists. Of course, grammar and vocabulary are important, but they are not enough to help you speak fluently. Why? Because speaking is a skill, not just knowledge. Think about it like this. If you want to learn how to swim, you can read many books about swimming, watch videos, and learn all the techniques. But if you never go into the water, you'll never learn how to swim. The same is true for speaking English. You must actually speak to get better. So, the right way to learn speaking is through real and active practice. You need to use the language in daily life. Talk to people, talk to yourself, or even talk to a mirror. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. Another important thing is your mindset. Many learners wait until they feel ready or perfect before speaking. But that moment never really comes. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be brave enough to start. Every mistake you make helps you grow. Also, remember that listening and speaking are connected. If you listen to a lot of natural English like podcasts, movies, or real conversations, your brain starts to learn how English sounds. You'll pick up rhythm, tone, and sentence patterns naturally. So, instead of just studying grammar, try to focus on using English. Speak small sentences. Repeat what you hear. Think in English. And most importantly, enjoy the process. Once you understand that speaking is a skill that grows with practice, not a test you must pass, you'll start learning much faster. All right, now it's time to talk about the most important part: how you can actually improve your English speaking skills in practical ways. These tips are simple, but if you practice them every day, you'll see big improvement over time. Let's go step by step. Listen more to speak better. One of the best ways to become a better speaker is to listen more. Listening helps your brain absorb the natural rhythm, tone, and sentence structure of English. When you listen carefully, you learn how native speakers and fluent people form sentences, ask questions, and express ideas. You also improve your pronunciation and accent naturally. Try to listen to things that you enjoy: podcasts, YouTube videos, English songs, or movies with subtitles. Don't just listen passively. Repeat what you hear, pause, and say the same sentence again. This is called shadowing, and it's one of the most effective ways to train your mouth and ears to work together. Even if you don't understand every word, keep listening. Your brain will slowly get used to the sounds and patterns of English. Over time, speaking will feel easier and more natural. Practice every day, even alone. Now, here's something very important. You can practice speaking even without a partner. Many learners wait until they find someone to talk to, but that's not necessary. You can talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing during the day, like, I'm making breakfast, or I'm going to the store. You can also practice in front of a mirror, which helps you see your mouth movement and build confidence. Another great way is to record yourself speaking. Pick a topic, talk for 1 or 2 minutes, then listen to your recording. You'll notice your pronunciation, speed, and mistakes, and you'll improve faster. Remember, consistency is the key. Just 10 to 15 minutes of daily speaking practice is much better than studying grammar for hours once a week. See. Learn phrases, not just words. Many learners try to memorize individual words, but that's not how native speakers use language. Instead, they use phrases or chunks of words together. For example, instead of learning the single word busy, learn the phrase, I'm a bit busy right now. Instead of just thanks, learn thanks for your help or thanks for waiting. When you learn full phrases, you don't have to create sentences word by word. You'll speak more naturally and fluently. So, focus on useful expressions that you can use in daily life, like greetings, common questions, and responses. D. Focus on pronunciation and intonation. Many learners think pronunciation means having a perfect accent, but that's not true. The goal is to be clear and understandable, not perfect. Pay attention to how words sound and how sentences rise and fall. This is called intonation, and it makes your speech sound natural. You can improve by listening to short audio clips and repeating them many times. Also, practice speaking slowly and clearly. Don't rush. When you slow down, you sound more confident, and others can understand you better. Remember, speaking English is like music rhythm and sound matter just as much as words. Now, let's talk about something many English learners struggle with: how to practice speaking English without a partner. You might think, I don't have anyone to talk to, so how can I practice speaking? Don't worry, there are many ways to practice on your own and still make great progress. The first method is called shadowing. This means you listen to a short clip in English, maybe from a movie, a podcast, or a YouTube video, and then you repeat exactly what you hear, at the same time or right after. Try to copy the speaker's tone, rhythm, and pronunciation. It's like singing along, but with spoken English. Shadowing helps you sound more natural and fluent. The second method is talking to yourself. You can describe what you're doing, what you see, or what you're thinking, all in English. For example, when you wake up, you can say, "It's a beautiful morning." "I'm going to brush my teeth and make some tea." This helps your brain start thinking in English. The third method is using technology and tools. There are many apps and websites where you can practice speaking with AI or voice chatbots. You can also record yourself speaking and use voice-to-text tools to check how accurate your pronunciation is. These tools can give you feedback and help you improve faster. The fourth method is reading aloud. Take a book, an article, or even social media posts in English and read them aloud every day. This will improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and speaking confidence. Remember, speaking is not only about talking to people, it's also about training your mouth, your ears, and your mind to work together in English. You can practice alone and still become fluent. So even if you don't have a partner today, you have everything you need: your voice, your mind, and your motivation. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges for English learners: fear of speaking. Many people feel nervous when they speak English. They worry about making mistakes, being judged, or not sounding good enough. But remember, everyone feels afraid at the beginning, even native speakers when they speak another language. Fear is normal, but it doesn't have to control you. The first step to building confidence is to accept your mistakes. Mistakes are not failures. They are signs that you are learning and growing. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, you're becoming better. The second step is to change your mindset. Instead of thinking, "What if I say it wrong?" try to think, "What if I can learn something new from this?" When you think positively, you'll feel more relaxed and open to speaking. The third step is to celebrate small wins. Maybe today you spoke one full sentence in English, or you introduced yourself confidently. That's progress. Be proud of every little step. And finally, don't compare yourself with others, especially native speakers. Your goal is not to sound perfect. Your goal is to communicate clearly. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from practice, patience, and a positive attitude. So take a deep breath, smile, and speak, even if your voice shakes. Every word you say brings you closer to fluency. Now that we've talked about confidence and practice, let's create a simple daily routine to help you improve your English speaking step by step. You don't need hours of study every day. Even 15 to 20 minutes of focused practice can make a big difference if you do it consistently. Here's an example routine you can follow. Step 1. Listen for 5 minutes. Choose a short podcast, video, or audio clip in English. Listen carefully to how the speaker talks, their pronunciation, tone, and rhythm. Step 2. Repeat or shadow for 5 minutes. After listening, repeat the sentences out loud. Try to copy the way the speaker says them. This helps your mouth and brain work together. Step 3. Speak for 5 to 10 minutes. Talk about your day, your thoughts, or a topic you like. You can do this alone in front of a mirror or by recording yourself. Focus on using the phrases and words you know. Don't worry about mistakes. Just speak. The key is consistency. Doing a little every day is much better than doing a lot once a week. Also, remember to mix things up. Some days focus on listening, some days focus on speaking, and some days review what you learned. This keeps your practice fun and effective. If you follow this simple routine every day, your English speaking will improve faster than you expect, and you'll feel more confident each day. Before we finish today's episode, I want to share some motivation and inspiration with you. Many English learners feel frustrated because they don't see progress quickly. But remember, learning to speak English is a journey, not a race. Every small step counts. Let me tell you a story. There was a learner who could barely say a full sentence in English at first. He practiced just 15 minutes a day, listened to podcasts, repeated sentences, and talk to himself. After a few months, he started speaking more confidently, making friends, and even participating in online discussions in English. The secret was consistency and courage. So, the key message is this: you can do it too. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start, practice every day, and never give up. Every word you speak, every sentence you try, brings you closer to fluency. Remember, learning English is not just about speaking a language. It's about growing, connecting with people, and opening doors to opportunities you never imagined. Believe in yourself, stay consistent, and celebrate your progress, no matter how small. You are capable of more than you think. And that brings us to the end of today's episode on how to improve your English speaking. I hope you found these tips helpful and easy to understand. Remember the key points we discussed today. Speak every day, even if it's just a little. Listen and repeat to improve your pronunciation and fluency. Learn phrases, not just words. Practice alone if you don't have a partner. And most importantly, believe in yourself and stay consistent. Thank you so much for listening and spending your time with me today. Take what you learned, put it into practice, and speak English with confidence. Mistakes are just stepping stones to success. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel for more tips to help you speak English naturally and confidently. Until next time, keep practicing, stay motivated, and remember, every word you speak brings you closer to fluency.